Elias Weiss Friedman, better known as the Dogist on social media, has made a career out of taking photos of dogs. His new book, This Dog Will Change Your Life, explores the relationship between dogs and people. And here to tell us all about it, please welcome Elias Weiss Friedman. Welcome.
Thank
when
you.
I heard you had a book out, I wanted to talk to you because I followed you on social media for a million years. Over the years, you've amassed a combined 11.1 million followers posting dog content, dogs in their natural habitat, on the city streets, just being their adorable selves. What made you want to start this account, and did you ever think it would grow as big as it has?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a dream job. You know, I think growing up, like in kindergarten, dog photographer wasn't on the list of options.
Right.
But, you know, I was inspired by like Humans of New York and the Sartorialist in New York City, and saw all these amazing dogs walking around, and I thought, wouldn't everyone like to know who they are? I was like fixing a problem for people, right? This curiosity. And so I started it, and instantly it got traction and took off. And then, you know, 50,000 dogs later, 11 years later, it's just been such a success, and people love it.
We do love it. Well, how do you define a dogist?
A dogist, I would say, is someone who dogs. A dog a dog lover. I think if you love dogs, you're a dogist. And if you take pictures of your dog, which I know you do, then I would consider you a dogist.
My entire camera roll, it's like my dogs would be freaked out if they saw how many pictures I have of them. I am a certified dogist. In the book, you write, dogs make people's lives better by making people better. I know what you mean by that, but tell folks who may not have dogs in their lives what you mean by that.
I mean, so many things. I think, you know, they're a force of like socialization. You know, they get us out of the house, off our phones. I like to say that before you get a dog, you know your neighbor, and after you get a dog, you know your neighborhood. You know, they need to go outside to do their business, and they get you outside and meeting new people and fresh air and, you know, making eye contact, conversations with new people, and there's very few things like that, you know.
Every friend that I made when I lived in the city was through my dogs. I knew all the dogs' names before I knew my neighbors, but then I got to know the dog's owners. So it is so true. They're such social creatures. Now, there's something actually really special under the cover of the book. And if you take off the book sleeve, which I love, this here, so I added in mine, but tell us about this. You wanted to have an area where people could list the dogs in their lives that touch their lives.
Yeah, so anyone who's known a dog, has had a dog, that dog has meant something extremely special to them, and so I wanted to honor those dogs, and what a better way than to personalize this book, my new book, than writing in the dogs' names. And you know, there's only 4 spaces, but you can write anywhere in the book.
Yeah, I added a couple in each of them. It's such a nice touch. Now, you end each chapter of the book with a quote from dog encounters that you've had, and is there, over the years, any one particular story or dog encounter that stands out to you the most?
So many. A couple of years ago, the Make-A-Wish Foundation reached out to me, sent me an email, and was talking about this girl who had an inoperable tumor, a glioma, and her wish was to photograph dogs and to visit rescues and photograph dogs. And I was honored to be the one they thought of to grant her wish. And so we met up and had an amazing day photographing dogs during the Tompkins Square Halloween dog parade. So just picture dogs in amazing costumes. And you know, she was a natural. She got some amazing pictures, and it just made me feel extremely lucky that I get to do this amazing thing every day. You know, this is this girl's wish. She could have wished for anything. She could have wished to meet some celebrity or an athlete or something, but she wanted to photograph dogs, and I thought that was very wise.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, you got married earlier this year, and your dog Elsa, who you dedicate the book to, was also your dog of honor. How does she play a role in your marriage with your wife Sam?
Yeah, well, I think when you get a dog, they open up a whole other chamber of your heart that you didn't know was there. And so when I got Elsa, she just put lots of things in perspective to me, made me want to be with the people I love, and that was Sam. And so a dog, you know, enhances your own life, but they are like this glue that takes your whole life to the next level. And so she helped Sam and I become a family and was our dog of honor, and she had to be there.
I love dog of honor. I always say that dogs are a gift from God to teach us about unconditional love, because they just love you in a way that people aren't able to. Like that, your worst day, they're excited to see you. They're just there and are going to love you regardless of what you did that day, regardless of how short you are with them. They're really just special.
One of the things I hear most often is, no matter what kind of day you've had, you come home and there's this like party As soon as you walk in the door, like, oh my God, I'm so glad to see you, right?
Exactly.
And they don't judge you. What happens if maybe I like left the towel on the bed or something? My Sam maybe is like, hey, you left your towel. But the dog was just, no matter what, unconditionally.
Judgment-free zone.
Judgment-free.
Exactly. Well, I want to ask you, because I'm always telling people in my life to adopt a dog if they have their heart open to it, but it's also a really serious responsibility. And I think sometimes in like my love for dogs, I can push it, not really expressing enough to people. It's a real responsibility they have to think about. So how do you communicate to people how great bringing a dog into their life could be, but also balancing the responsibility that having that life in your life is?
Yeah, I mean, they're a living being. They need time, attention, love. So if you have those things, if you have, they also can be expensive to some degree. They're a privilege, really.
Yeah.
So if you're ready for a dog, it's one of the best things you can do. But do your research. Look up, what does it take to own a dog? Do I know, talk to your friends who have a dog, find your local vet, and I think it's a great decision, and you just have to be up for it. Yeah.
I always tell people, a puppy early on is in many ways like a newborn. Like there's gonna be sleepless nights, there's gonna be accidents, but the reward is there. But I also say, if maybe that's hard, think about getting an older dog. There's so many older dogs in shelters who could be adopted, and a lot of times they're so rewarding too. So
they
always
need a home
consider
too.
that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm such a fan of yours, and it's just been an honor to talk to you. So our thanks to Elias Weiss Friedman. This dog will change your life. It's available now. You can scan the QR code on the screen to buy it, and members of our audience are going home with a copy of the book. Have a great day.